Hey, what's going on YouTube? Bear here. This is Bear's Mix. Welcome to my channel. This evening I'm coming to you from East Lyme, Connecticut as I make my way west towards New Cumberland, Pennsylvania to deliver a load of aluminum ingots in the morning. I want to thank you for joining me for today's ride along. This is my hotshot life. I'm going to change things up a bit. I'm not going to talk about transportation in this video. I want to talk about investing. That's right, your boy said investing. What if I told you there was a way to get 3 to 50% annual interest on your investment guaranteed under state and federal laws? You'd say I'm nuts, right? Well, you're wrong. There is a way to do it, and I'm going to go into that briefly with you, and that's called Tax Lien Certificate Investing. And then the partner to that would be tax deed investing. This is the most socially responsible type of investment anybody can do. When a county needs funds for hospitals, schools, social projects, roads, bridges, police and law enforcement, fire departments, hospitals, schools, what have you, they fund these programs with tax dollars raised from property taxes. Well, what happens when somebody doesn't pay the property tax? Say there's $1,000 owed on a house right now, and that person didn't pay the $1,000 property tax this year. Well, the budget for those county programs, much needed programs, mind you, is now $1,000 short. You have 1,000 people in the county do that. Now you got $100,000 in deficits. So what the county will do to get the money they need so desperately to keep their programs funded is they will place a lien on the property for the value of the taxes owed on it. Now this is a first position lien. It supersedes all other liens by law. That means it supersedes the bank lien. If there's a note owed on the property, if they're making a mortgage on it, this goes above the bank. This takes precedence over the bank or any other lien that might be on the property. Like say a contractor's lien. The person's having some construction or remodeling done on their house. The contractor will put a lien on the property for the amount owed for the work, just in case the property owner doesn't pay. So we can come back later on when the property is sold and take the money directly from the proceeds of the sale. He gets paid, all the lien holders get paid before the property owner does when it's sold. This bypasses all that, wipes it all out. And let's take, say, Florida for instance. Joe Public doesn't pay $1,000 property tax this year. Bear comes along, buys that tax lien. Bear is Bear. I'm loaning him the $1,000 at 18% interest. He don't know I'm loaning him the money. All he knows is he owes money to the county for taxes. He owes interest and penalties and fees. Well, that's 18% interest per annum, which breaks down to 1.5% per month, or an additional $180 a year. That might not be much, you say, but wait. So I turn around. I paid $1,000. 6 months down the road, he comes in, pays off the $1,000 he owes in back taxes and the 18% interest per annum. So it'd be 180 at 6 months. It'd be $90. So all he owes on his taxes after a half a year is $1,090. What the county is going to do, they're not going to profit. They're not going to take that interest that he paid and keep it for themselves. They're going to give it to you. That's your interest for loaning them the money. So within 30 days of the property owner paying off, and Joe Public pays off his property taxes and the fees and interest and penalties, the county's going to take that money, they're going to write a check and mail it to you. Well, these days, everything's done ACH. It's all done by bank wire, bank transfer. Say they go a year, an exact year. Year rolls around, they haven't paid. Now they owe $1,180. You as an investor, you're owed $1,180 as of this date. And this year, he doesn't pay his property taxes again. What the county is going to do is say, hey, Bear, we see you hold the tax lien certificate on this particular property for $1,000. They failed to pay their taxes again this year. Would you like to purchase the next tax lien on it? The new tax lien? I'm going to say, sure, especially if the property's worth it. So I'm going to cut them a check for $1,180. That's what's owed on property taxes plus the interest. So now I'm $2,180 into it. Joe Public goes another year, doesn't pay his taxes the third year. County's going to get a hold of me and I'm going to say, hey, Bear, third property tax lien certificate was just issued on this property. Would you like it? Yes or no? I'm going to say, yes, I do want it. Now I'm going to cut a check for another $1,180. That's what's owed in penalty and interest for the previous year. So now I've got $3,390 tied up. I'm sorry, $3,004. Let me do some math real quick. Excuse me. Okay. So now I've got $3,540 invested into this property. What I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to tell the county, hey, I want to begin tax foreclosure proceedings on this property. That's all you have to do. That and pay the fee. I think it's $860 now. So now you own 3 years worth of back taxes on the property. You're placed above the bank or any other liens or money that's owed on the house. They're going to draw up the foreclosure documents. They're going to look at all the lien holders and they're going to send them notices. They're going to send the bank a notice. They're going to send the property owner a notice. Hey, you have 30 days to pay this money back for back taxes or interest, fees, and penalties, or the property is going to be foreclosed on, and you're going to lose all rights and interests and entitlements thereof. 30 days goes by, nobody replies. Nobody pays the money off. They're going to send that your foreclosure proceedings to the judge. He's going to look at it. He's going to sign it off. And 45 days, 60 days later, you're going to get the deed and title to the property in the mail. It's yours free and clear. You now own that house. The smart thing to do at this point is you need to hire yourself a real estate attorney and have them do what's called unclouding the title. Same thing as if you buy a tax deed outright. There are many counties that sell tax deeds every year outright. Once you have the tax deed, you want to hire a real estate attorney. It might cost you $1,500, it might cost you $2,000, who knows. The best way to find out is call real estate agents in that area and say, hey, I just took deed to a property. I'm looking for a good real estate attorney. Can you recommend somebody? I want to make sure my deed is unclouded, that it's truly free and clear. And then I might be putting the house on the market, and I'd like to talk to you about that as well. Now they have the potential of a new sale, a new client just out of the blue, call them up. They're going to say, yeah, well, I use this real estate attorney, or I use this law firm to handle my real estate transactions. So you're going to call that attorney and say, hey, Joe Attorney, this is Bear. I just took deed and title to a property through the tax foreclosure process. How much would you charge me to go in and uncloud the title? And he's going to give you whatever his fee is. It's going to be a couple $100, it's going to be a couple $1,000, depends on the attorney. And what he's going to do, he's going to go in, he's going to do a thorough investigation into the background of the title. He's going to look for any unpaid loans, any unpaid deeds, anything like that, or not deeds, unpaid liens on the property, like unpaid water bill, unpaid sewage, trash, what have you. Any like contractor's liens, mechanic liens, any lien that it was placed on the property, even an IRS lien for any reason, if there's a mortgage on it, any of that, he's going to go in and he's going to have those liens struck, which means removed, deleted, to make sure there are no liens or no encumbrances on your title. Because all you get is a quit claim deed, which does not clear up all liens like it should. That's why you need to hire a real estate professional, an attorney, real estate attorney, to go in and uncloud the title to make sure that, say you decide to sell the property off a couple months down the road, a couple years down the road, what have you, you don't have somebody come out of the woodwork and say, hey, wait a minute, I got a lien right here. You owe me this money. And because you didn't take actions to have it unclouded, you can be held responsible for whatever money was owed to them. And you'll lose that off the sale price. You don't want to do that. That's why you want to make sure you hire an attorney to uncloud or to strike the title, go in and remove all liens. That way you truly have a free and clear ownership of the property. Now, what do you do with the property? Well, let me back up a little bit here. What I do in these properties, I had one recently in Florida, Miami-Dade. There's a couple $100 owed on it. I can tell by looking at it, it was a sewage bill that went unpaid. It was like $256 on a $750,000 home. I went, jumped on Craigslist for that area, found a young high school girl that said, hey, I'll do it. I just put an ad up. I want somebody to take photos and give me information on specific properties. She replied. I said, okay, here's $25 to cover your gas. I want you to go to this property, take pictures of it. Tell me, does it look like it's lived in? Is anybody living in it? Is it in good condition? Anything like that. Tell me everything you can about the property. If it don't look like anybody's in it, you can see it through the windows. Snap a couple pictures of the interior through the windows and send them back to me. This was before I bought the tax certificate, now mind you. So she did. She went, took a bunch of pictures. It was not too far from her house. I think it was like 20 miles away from her. She took the pictures, emailed them back to me. Once I went through them and looked at them and confirmed that it was the right address, I just matched the picture she gave me of the front of the house with the Google Street View to make sure it was the same house. And it was. There was a for rent sign on the property. It was immaculate. So I turned around, I sent her another $75 for her time. And now I have her information. I've got people like that all over the country. But I pay them $50 to $100 to go photograph properties for me that I'm interested in other states. I took the lien, went ahead, bought that tax lien. And in the process of researching, I found out there were 2 other tax liens for the 2 previous years owed on the property. So it was a total of $6,000, just under $6,000 owed in tax liens for various departments. I think one was water, one was sewage, and the other was just straight property tax bills that hadn't been paid for 3 years. I paid them all off. I took the deed to, or not the deed to it, I'm sorry, I took it off, paid everything off, got the tax certificates for 3 years, got a hold of the clerk's office and said, hey, I want to tax foreclose on this property. I own the tax deeds for these tax certificates for the previous 3 years on it. They started the foreclosure process. I spent a little over $6,000 to get it, with the tax foreclosure process and everything else. One day before the 30 days was up and it would have went into foreclosure, the day before it was scheduled to be heard by the judge, the property owners came forward and paid the taxes on it. It was a home that was being held in trust. It was somebody owned it, passed away, left it to the family trust, and the trust was running it out. They didn't know that these bills weren't paid. They didn't do their due diligence on it. They almost lost the property. They almost lost a $750,000 home for under 10 grand, well, a little over 6. If they had waited one more day, I would have owned that home free and clear, because I already know it's up for rent, which means it's good to go. It's immaculate. everything's ready on it, I would have called that real estate attorney back and said, hey, all right, that house I was talking to you about that I had the title unclouded on, I'm going to need to put it on the market. Here's the information. Send your maintenance guys over, have them change the locks, do this, that, and the other thing. Here's my paperwork, here's proof of ownership. And let's get the ball rolling. I want you to give me a solid appraisal on it, and we'll go from there. Well, because they paid it off, I didn't have to go that route. But there are other homes where I have done that, and I've sold them for dirt cheap. I mean, you can make good money at it. Texas is a great place to do it. They have tax districts. So you can have multiple taxes owned in a single district. So you can turn around, you can have the water and sewage is one tax. That's handled by the water and sewage department. The trash collections is handled by the refuge department. School taxes are handled by the school tax department. Property taxes are handled by the property tax department. You can have 5 or 6 different tax districts on one property. And if any one of them goes unpaid for the 3 years and you pay all 3 of them off, you foreclose on it, you immediately get a tax deed. But it's a redeemable deed. Now that property owner has 6 months to pay you, to reimburse you what you put into it for the previous 3 years of tax deeds, plus 50% interest. That's right, 50% interest in Texas on a tax deed. Now, once you have that deed in hand, here's where Texas varies from the others. Not only that it's redeemable, that means they have 6 months to pay off what was owed on it. You take immediate ownership and possession of the property. Now, if somebody's living in the house that they're renting it to, they stop paying the property owner. They pay you now. No, you're making a passive income off of that property. They pay you rent. If nobody's living in it, you got the right to rent it out immediately and collect rents for the first 6 months while they're waiting to pay it off. Anything you do to improve the property, even if you go in, change the carpets, change the locks, paint the walls, any major work, say it needs a roof, needs a hot water heater, furnace, AC, whatever, you go in, you fix it and replace it. Within the 6 months, if the property owner comes in to redeem that, they got to pay you the money you paid into it, plus 50% interest, plus reimburse you every penny you put into that property in improvements before they get the deed back. And if they're not done within 6 months, you own the property free and clear. That means the banks can't come after you, the IRS can't come after it if there was an IRS tax lien on it. All the other tax districts are paid off now. You own the house 100%. Now, there's a couple things you can do with the house. You can send your representative, or you can go yourself, knock on the door, especially if it's not a homestead. What a homestead property is, where the homeowner, the property owner, lives for, I think it's 6.5 months a year. To have homestead, that means that's your home, that's where you live, this is your house. This is your primary residence. Otherwise, it's an investment property or a rental, like a rental property. So you go back up, you knock on the door, it's a rental property. Say, hey, this is an investment property. I'm Bear. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but your landlord hasn't paid some of his property taxes in the last couple of years. He lost the house at the county to tax sale. I purchased it. I'm the new owner. Here's my paperwork that shows I'm the owner of the house. How long have you been renting here? Would you like to remain here? Do you want to stay in this house? Okay, here's you want to stay? Excellent. Are you interested in buying the house maybe at a ridiculously reduced rate? I'll sell it to you on a land contract, or I'll rent it back to you, or I'll give you 60 days rent-free to give you time and money to find another place. Now, what you're going to have to do for the security deposit, you have to get a hold of the previous property owner. He's got to reimburse you for that. I can't do that. I don't have the money. He's got it. You got to get it from him. And go ahead and move and let me know when you move out. But if they decide they want to rent it, okay, boom, here's a rental agreement. Because I know this is an inconvenience for you. I'm not going to charge you any rent for this first month, so this month you're going to have rent free, okay? What I'd like to do is send my maintenance guys over and have them do a walkthrough. Maybe give you a new, repaint the house for you if it needs it. If it needs painting, let me know what colors you'd like. We'll work with you. We'll paint it to how you want it painted. Is there anything that needs to be repaired on the house? Are there any broken screens, broken screen doors? Is the roof leaking? Any problems at all? Let me know. I'll take care of that for you right now. So now you're off on a good start with these people. And it's going to make them want to rent from you even more, especially if the previous property owner, the landlord, was ignoring their complaints and didn't want to fix issues with the property for them. Now you're the white knight. You're coming in, you're saving the day. You're offering them a month's worth of free rent. Then, of course, they're going to have to sign a lease, work out a decent, amicable rent agreement with them. I mean, if they're paying $750 for the house, you don't want to turn around and charge them, okay, now you're going to pay me $1,500 a month. Don't do that to them. That's not right. Let's see. Now, if they want to turn around and buy the property off of you, great. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to draw up a land contract. This is the way it's going to work. I know you're paying $750 a month right now, but for the first 18 months, can you afford $1,000 a month? But now, mind you, this is going towards your down payment, so your down payment is going to be $5,000. You'll need to go get your security deposit from the previous landlord, the previous property owner, and transfer it over to me towards your down payment for purchasing the house. It's no longer a security deposit, it's a down payment. And now for the first 18 months, you're going to pay me $1,000 a month as opposed to the $750. That extra $250 a month is going to go towards the down payment. And once that's all, your down payment's all caught up, then your rent's going to drop down to the back down to where it was, the $750 a month, maybe $800. Half of that's going to go for your rent. The other half is going to go towards the purchase price of the property. So basically, I'm cutting your rent in half, but you're taking ownership of the house. You're buying the house. It's yours. Once they sign the papers, everything's notarized, filed, you're good to go. Start collecting money from them. So you turn around and you tell them, I'm going to sell you the house over the course of 5 years, 10 years, whatever. They're going to love you. But now they got a house that they've been in for a while. You've fixed it up for them. Made it more of a home for them. It's theirs now. They can make any changes to what they want. They can do whatever they want. They can invest anything they want into that house because now it's going to be theirs. If they end up defaulting, you evict them, resell it. Simple as that. Now, any improvements they've made, say they've added an in-ground pool, they've added value to your property, they don't get that back. You get the cash in on that. But hopefully you never have to evict them. Hopefully they'll be good tenants, especially if there's somebody that's been a tenant in the house for 5 years. There's people that have been there for 5-10 years. They're not going to want to leave. It's their home. That's all they know. Now you're giving them a chance to actually own it rather than lease it. And you're already in profit. You're in pure profit right now. The house is worth $200,000. You spent $10,000 for the house. You spent another $5,000 to $20,000 in rehab to bring it up to code and make it more livable and make it more comfortable for them. So it's a win-win. After 18 months, you've got most of your money back. Because every paycheck, every monthly rental check you collect from them is knocking off the money that you invested on the house. Say it's a $200,000 house, you've put $15,000 to $20,000 into it, sell it back to them for $50,000 to $75,000. They're getting the house for pennies on the dollar. You're making a profit. You win, they win, the county wins because now the county's collecting their tax money. They're taking care of the property. If the purchaser defaults on the taxes, you turn around and tell them, look, okay, now you didn't pay your taxes this year. How are we going to handle this? Property taxes or whatever, I'm going to divide that by 12, and I'm going to add that. I'm going to pay the property tax this year for you. and I'm going to add that to your monthly rent. I'll take whatever it is, divide it by 12 months, and whatever the answer is going to be how much your rent's going to go up each month to cover the property taxes or water bill, sewage, trash, whatever they didn't pay the year before, because now they're going to be responsible for all that. You're not, they are. But as a registered property owner, you're still going to be notified. The tax bill is going to come to you. The water, sewage, and trash bills are going to come to you, and you just need to forward it to them. So now you're going to know ahead of time what's owed on it. You're going to be able to follow up in 30, 60, 90 days, whatever you want, to make sure that that bill was paid. And if it wasn't, you can get a hold of them and find out why and make arrangements to get it paid. And like I said, if you have to, you break it down over 12 months and raise their rent by that much until that bill is paid. Win-win situation for everybody. There are those out there like, oh, you're a scumbag, you're an asshole, you're stealing these people's homes. No, you're not. You're not stealing anything. You're lending them money. The state or the county is giving them 3, 5, or 7 years, whatever it is for that particular law in that area, to pay what they owe. You lent them the money, they didn't reimburse you. It's just like the bank foreclosing on the mortgage when they don't pay the mortgage. You're not kicking them out on the streets. You're not taking anything from them. You're not stealing anything from them. And you will get people tell you that don't understand how it works. But yeah, tax lien and tax deed investings are great opportunities for some guaranteed returns on your investment. But be careful too. If you're going to buy a tax deed, even a certificate, a tax deed you can get away with buying like on eBay or something. But tax certificates, don't buy them on eBay. Don't buy them from Bid for Assets. Don't buy them on Amazon. Don't buy them on Craigslist ads or social media ads, because you're going to get screwed. You're going to get hurt. There are investors out there running tax lien scams. What they're doing is they'll go into like bidforassets.com, which a lot of counties sell their tax deeds, especially on the West Coast, even their tax liens on there. What people will do, they're going in, they're buying, say, an $86 tax lien. Chances are somebody's tax bill this year, the water bill and sewage bill, went up $86. They didn't realize that they didn't read their tax bill. They have it set up to auto pay. They just didn't realize that their taxes went up $86 that year. So they didn't pay that $86. They underpaid $86. Well, what these guys are doing out here, I see it all the time. I do my best to get these ads shut down, but it's hard as hell to do. As they are giving people the promise of owning these luxurious homes for $86. And you have people coming in that don't understand how it works. Now, they'll start their bid at $86. That's what the tax lien is. That's what they paid for. And then they'll tack on a origination fee, document handling and processing fees. It could be $500. So now you just went from this $86 lien costs you $500 in addition. And say they auction it off on a site like Bid for Assets or eBay, and now all of a sudden that tax lien's up to $2,000. Now you're going to have to pay $2,000 for an $86 return. You're going to have to pay their document fees of $500. And like Bid for Assets, they're going to take a buyer's premium of 10% or $500, whichever is greater, at the sale. So now you're out several $1,000s you've invested thinking you're going to get this house scot-free. Well, because Joe Q Public didn't realize he underpaid the previous year and gets that notice in the mail, he's going to go pay that $86 so he don't lose the property. What's the county going to do? They're going to look and say, okay, so-and-so's the tax lien holder on it. Here's $86 plus whatever the interest is, and they're going to mail them a check for that. Now, you just paid $5,000. Just say you just paid $5,086 for this tax lien after you paid off through the bid process. You won the high bid. You paid off the buyer's premium. You paid their BS document and transfer fees. But all of a sudden you get a check in the mail for $86. You're like, well, wait a minute, where's the rest of my money? I paid $5,086 for this. You call the county. The county's going to say, no, I don't know where that $5,000 is. You got ripped off. All you're owed is $86 and whatever the interest is. Click. Well, now you're out that money. You're out $5,000. While the idiot, the individual, let's call him what he is. He's a criminal. He's a crook. He's a scam artist. He just ripped you off. He turned around. He's going to take your $5,000. He's going to buy a bunch more small, say $100 each tax lien. He's going to do the same thing and resell them again. He's going to go buy 500 of them now for your $5,000, or 50 of them rather for your $5,000 at $100 a piece. And he's going to do the same thing now to 50 more people. Now he's just taken his $86 and turned it into $500,000 in a couple months. It's a scam. Never buy from an individual. If you're buying a tax lien certificate from an individual, never pay more than the face value of the ticket plus whatever that county charges for a transfer fee. Transfer fees can be from anywhere from $7.50 to $75, anywhere in between. Could be more, could be less. Depends on the county. I see guys do it here in Arizona, out in Phoenix, and Maricopa. Transfer fee in Maricopa, $7.50. So that you should not be paying more than 86 and 75, or 86 and 750 would be what, 80? Shouldn't be paying more than $93.50 for that $86 tax lien. That's the face value of the tax lien, plus the $7.50 transfer fee. Now, of course, you might negotiate with the guy, and he might want a little extra money on top of it. He might want to get $100 for his $86. He wants to get his interest he would have incurred during that time, plus a little bit more for his time and trouble. That's perfectly fine. Say he wants a few dollars more. Don't let him go after you for hundreds of dollars more, or even thousands of dollars more. But just remember, in the end, if that is redeemed, you lose the difference. Anything over the 86, you lose. So now you're operating negatively. If it's next year comes around, you're the tax lien holder of record. They're going to say, hey, Brian, we see you bought this tax lien certificate on such and such a property. The property owner failed to pay the taxes again this year. There's a new tax lien on it for $150. Would you like it? You're going to say, yes, I would. You're going to give them your ACH information. They're going to send you an email. Boom. Now you're the tax certificate holder for 2 years. Year 3 rolls around. Boom. Done. Buy that one. Now you can foreclose on the property. Some states, what they'll do is they'll do the foreclosure process, but they will hold one additional sale. They'll take your tax liens, they'll combine the total of them with the interest and penalties and everything you'd make on it, and they're going to hold a tax deed sale. Now with that auction, it's going to start out at whatever you are owed for those 3 years. Penalties, taxes, interest, and your investment. They're going to turn around and it might sell for 5 times what you're owed. Whatever they make on it, they are going to cut you a check for that and mail it out to you. If it doesn't sell, they're going to send you the deed. So now you own the property. It can be a little tricky, a little hard to negotiate. But yeah, just do your research. There's a lot of good videos out there on like YouTube. Right here, I'm going to put a link below to the U.S. Tax Lien Associates. They are the top notch, they're the best ones out there for it. Get their training program. If they're coming to your town, if Tony Martinez or any of those guys are coming to your town to do a little 2 or 3 hour seminar, go to the seminar, get the information on it. They can explain it a hell of a lot better than I am. Get your feet wet. They got training programs where they teach you in depth how to do everything I'm doing. They give you listings of every county, every tax assessor out there in the country, so you can start writing to them and getting lists every year of their upcoming tax deeds. A lot of this information is now found online on tax assessor sites. They'll tell you the 3 primary websites to go to that handle the tax lien sales for the majority of the counties out there. There were some of them where you have to go in person and stand there and do the auction at. They have different ways of doing those auctions, but a lot of them's done online now. It's more efficient that way. More people have a chance at it. Of course, it drives up the value of the tax liens too. But yeah, I'm going to put a link in here for U.S. Tax Lien Associates. Check them out. They won't admit it publicly, but they got their start when Glenn Beck did his free and clear program back in the 90s. He ended up facing some charges on it because something wasn't done right in it, and there was some issues. People weren't following the program or not understanding the program properly, and he got the blowback for it. But yeah, he was the original one, as far as I know, for putting this stuff out there. Tony Martinez and his partner there at U.S. Tax Lien Associates, they've been doing this since the 80s or 90s. They've got a proven track record for finding properties. They even have lists. If you join them and become a member of their group, the association there, they have tools on their website that you'll have access to that will help you find tax liens and tax deeds. We'll give you a listing of everything that's coming up. That will, they even sell some of their tax liens direct to the members for a little over face value. So get out there, check them out. Thanks for joining me tonight. I know it's kind of a long video. It'll be probably around 40 minutes with the intro and my outro. So yeah, like I always say, stay safe out there. Keep it between the ditches. Keep the sunny side up, the rubber side down, and we'll see you in the next one. Bear out.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.